Are you looking for a film that's dark, twisted, high and anxiety inducing, and not to mention Nick Cage is creepy as shit? Well, I've got the movie for you. We're going to be reviewing Longlegs right now.
Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant Podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, Rant. As mentioned, we are going to be reviewing Longlegs right now. This film only had a budget of $10 million. Currently right now it's made $25 million in the box office. And it is, as mentioned, as weird and dark as I said at the start of this video. So I'd like to thank you very much to Studio Canal for the advanced screening tickets. And I didn't watch a trailer for this movie. I only saw the poster and read the premise. And I was like, okay, you have my curiosity and you have my attention. Especially, let alone Nick Cage horror film. And before I even got to see the premiere, early reviews were coming out for this because it's coming out early in America and everywhere else. As always, Australia is usually the last one for movie premieres. And everyone was saying the same thing. I was like, okay, this is piquing my curiosity, especially after the last horror movie I watched was with The Exorcism with Russell Crowe, which was yeah, we did a whole episode on that, and I highly recommend you watching that. But that was the last horror movie I watched, so I was looking for a new horror movie, and I was looking for something different. And this is everything. This is something horror fans can really sink their teeth into this. So we have Nick Cage as Longlegs, as the title says, and we also have Maika Monroe playing Lee Harker. There are two leads in this film, and it's the type of movie when you watch it, it's not like a Saw, it's not like a Scream, it's something that really gets underneath your skin, and you can feel the chills coming up your back and your hair standing on end. So this movie starts, and not to mention spoilers, right, left, right, and center. So if you haven't seen the film, definitely recommend not staying around and coming back for this review and finding out if we do have the same type of feel for the movie. Or if you're ready for spoilers, then we're going to dive right in. So this movie starts in 1970, where we see this little girl on top of a hill, and there's a creepy car rocks up. And then she finds this creepy guy that's in her backyard. And before that scene even starts, which is really cool, is that we have the long shot, like your normal, landscape cinema. The film goes into a square, like an old film reel. And that theme goes out through the entire movie. So anytime we get a flashback in this movie, which is broken up into multiple parts, I briefly was thinking about it. I saw part 1 and part 2 and part 3. I was like, oh my god, I hope this isn't going to be like Zack Snyder's Justice League. It'll be like, this is part 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and it's going to be 4 hours long. So don't you worry, this film only goes for 110 minutes. And you're on the edge of the seat for the entire ride. So every time it does go in that flashback, you get this nice, square, old school reel, which I do love that aspect that we do get. So you still get the color, it just gives that little bit of dynamic. So as we can see this little girl, she quickly sees the face of Longlegs, and then boom, we go straight to modern day, which is 1990s, and we meet Lee. So she is currently working for the FBI. She's slightly psychic and also slightly odd as well. So is her mother, Ruth, which we will meet later on the film. After, how can I put this? After a brief stint with her partner, in which her partner takes a shot to the head when she tries to find the killer. That's in the first, it's in about the first 10 minutes. That happens. I was like, well, that would have been a short payday for that guy. For that FBI agent, and which she does find the killer. She picked the right house and everything. So then she meets the FBI boss and says, we're going to put you on the case for Longlegs, which he has been killing for a very long time. He kills these families, but they can never find him on how he gets into the house, how there's no prints. It's always the dad that does it. And they always do find these letters with Longlegs. He leaves these letters that are very satanic and weird. So as we go through this film, we see Lee try and figure out how this is happening, how is he killing him, trying to find the connection. So she has some creepy moments with him from a large distance in her house. Her mother's a bit weird. As I said, you'll understand why. As she gets closer and closer to the case. And as it all progresses, she starts figuring out, how the dates, the fact he's killing these 9-year-old girls, the fact that he's done it in this weird satanic angle in this town in Oregon, and that's how he's been killing it. But the big mystery is, how's he killing them? How's he getting inside? How's he doing it? She's saying she must have a accomplice. She must have one. Sorry, he must have one. And the FBI agent's like, yeah, but who is it? And how's he doing it? Especially for so long. Very creepy. We also get shots with Nicolas Cage as Longlegs, and he's just weird. Again, Nicolas Cage has embraced this character so much. And you can tell that he just had fun with it. So, as she gets closer and closer, Longlegs actually admits himself. He allows himself to get captured. He goes in the FBI and has a one-on-one interrogation meeting with Lee. And of course, he doesn't say much, but then as he's having a conversation with Lee, he does this long Nick Cage monologue, which is cool and creepy at the same time. And just as he's about to finish, he decides to kill himself. Smack bang his head repeatedly on the table and kills himself, and that opens the mystery even more, because it's like, who's been helping him? Not to mention, when she's going through all trying to find out how he's been killing it, they do find these dolls. And what they do with these dolls is that he finds out that he's a doll maker, and he puts this weird silver ball inside their head. And they see the doctor who analyzes it and everything. He said it's very weird, to the point where, I was starting to hear my ex-wife shout at me. And I thought that was weird. And every time Lee touches it, we get these weird flashes, like erratic images of snakes and creepy stuff. Every time she goes, so you're just a bit like, every time she thinks of it. So after Longlegs' death, she also goes back home, speaks to her mother, who again, I said, weird as shit. And she goes through her old stuff, and then she finds a Polaroid, which is a callback to the start of the movie, where we find out that she took a photo of Longlegs, and the fact that she finds that he visited her house, and that's how she's got the connection to him. But then the connection is, okay, she tries to find out, who's the accomplice, which we find out is actually the mother. And her mother was actually the reason, was actually helping Longlegs, because that night or day when Longlegs visited, she made a deal with him saying that I'll keep helping you as long as you don't kill my daughter, which is why she's obsessed with her birthday and all the girls. At the same time this is going on, they do realize the fact that there is one other girl that is going to sadly die, which you do find out after. It's funny. It's not really funny, but this is one of those movies where when you get to the end, you're like, oh my god, everything just clicks all together, like The Prestige. As soon as you get to editing, everything just clicks. Because early in the film, you obviously meet her director of the FBI. You meet his wife, you meet her kid, and she does say, "I have a birthday coming up." And then once she realizes what her mother's done, she also tells her mother. She tells her mother the fact that she's killed. Longlegs has died. It's really weird. Her mother shoots her doll version to say, "You're gonna be set free. You're free. You're free. You're free." She passes out. She wakes up. Not to mention, about 3 moments earlier, she also does kill one of the other FBI cops straight in the car, which is brutal. So then it becomes a race between her mother going to the FBI's director's house. He doesn't realize what's happening. He hasn't met her, hasn't had the chance. And unfortunately, he starts going crazy. He starts killing his wife. And then and Lee gets away with the daughter to a degree, because Lee does try to shoot the last doll that's inside this house. but you can't pull the trigger, and then you slightly start to hear Longlegs' voice in the background saying, "Happy birthday," and then that's how the film ends. So this film, like as mentioned, like that's the story in a nutshell. But as again, these little pieces that you do see of her figuring everything out, things just get more intense during the final. I could not have picked it was her mother that was helping. Nick Cage is creepy, as I said. Finds out the fact that Nick Longlegs was actually living at her mum's house this whole time, so that flashback also happens. And it's just, you get your anxiety. This is just a pure horror movie, a pure thriller all the way through, and a murder mystery at the same time, rolled into one. And in the end, she slightly wins and she slightly loses at the same time, because of course she's going to kill her mother. But I was just watching this film like, yes, this is a horror film. This is intense. Nothing about demon taking over or some weird supernatural. There is a slight supernatural element, but that's probably about 5% to this entire movie that you do see about, especially with the orbs and how creepy they are, and they're making people kill the families. That's probably the 5% creepy enough because Longlegs is satanic. But it's just creepy all the way through. When we finished the film, our theater, we clapped of just how good it was. And you didn't even realize the fact it goes through 110 minutes. But the thing is, with this film, if you are looking for something that different, are you looking for a horror kick in the gut because you feel like things have been a little bit flat lately, this is the film. And I fully understand why it's making its money for buck and why it's doing so well. So this is definitely not a film to sleep on. It is, as it is, dark. There's moments of you just like, oh shit, just like this creepiness. Something like you could watch the Crime Channel and then you could watch this, and it's almost identical of just the tone, how everything plays out, except it goes from Crime Channel to the Sci-Fi Channel for very briefly. But horror fans, horror people, this is the film you need to go check out. This is your hot ticket. I can't recommend this more. This is all rolled up to one. Probably the only thing, probably like the final is really good, but I guess I just accepted something a little bit bigger. Like I wasn't expecting Longlegs to die so soon. I would hope they'd have a bit more of a confrontation and not so much about the mother. But yeah, and it's bits and pieces coming in together, but like that's probably the only thing is I would want, because it's like Longlegs, because he's the villain, because of everything, I would have liked a bigger confrontation between her and Lee instead of being switched to the mother. But that's, for me, that's probably the only thing that's wrong, that I just didn't like about the movie, that I was expecting a little bit more. But I would love to know, what did you think of this film? What didn't you like? Was the horror kicker that you need? If not, let me know in the comments. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Lights, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends. Until next time, happy ranting.